Welcome. In the last video, we completed private limited companies and public limited companies. So we have completed all the four forms of business organizations in the private sector, which are sole trader, partnership, private limited companies, and public limited companies. Now we are mm, learning franchising. What is franchising? A method of doing business in which the franchisor allows the franchisee to use his famous name for a payment called royalty. These are all franchising businesses or franchised outlets. McDonald's, Starbucks, Domino's Pizza, Burger King, KFC. All names might sound very familiar to you. That means franchising is a very popular way of doing business, and it's spread across many industries, both in the private and public sector. In a franchising business, there is a franchisor and a franchisee. Let's see who they are. Franchisor is the business that allows the franchise. That is, this business allows franchisor allows the franchisee to use his famous name, and franchisee is the business that takes the franchise or buys the franchise. So as we learned, the definition of franchising is an agreement between the franchisor and the franchisee, in which the franchisor allows the franchisee to use his famous name for a payment called royalty. The franchisee may even sometimes have to pay a share, a certain percentage from his profit as well to the franchisee. Uh, but still, it might be a lucrative business for the franchisee because the brand name is so popular. So there is a franchisor and the franchisee. Franchisor allows the franchise and franchisee buys the franchise. Some examples are McDonald's, KFC, Starbucks, Pizza Hut, and so on. What are the advantages of doing a franchised business? Franchisor can expand his business without any investment. Now, in a franchising business, it's the responsibility of the franchisee to set up the uh, business, to pay salaries to his workers, uh, uh, in short, to invest money into the business is the responsibility of the franchisee. The franchisor has no investments. At the same time, the franchisor's business is getting expanded uh, through the franchisee. Franchisor can expand his business without any investment. He earns royalties. Then the advantage to the franchisee is that he can sell a popular brand. So success is guaranteed. He is guaranteed of success. He can make sure that there will be customers. What are the disadvantages of franchising? Franchisee has to pay royalty and bear all the setup cost. That is a disadvantage to the franchisee. He has no control over his business since franchisor issues all guidelines. Now, the franchisor is a person who dictates terms to the franchisee as to how to run the business, how the interior decoration should be, how much money should we should the franchisee invest, and and how many staff he should appoint, and things like that. Franchisor loses his customer to franchisee. This is a disadvantage for the franchisor. His customers uh, may be lost to the franchisee if the customers visit the franchisee's outlet. Franchisor's name can be affected if franchisee gives poor service to customer. So these are some of the disadvantages of franchising business, both to the franchisor and the franchisee. Now comes joint venture. Joint venture is an agreement between two or more firms to work together to complete a project. Example, Google and NASA developed Google Earth. It was a joint venture between Google and NASA to develop Google Earth. The advantages of having or forming a joint venture is it reduces risks and cuts costs. Since more than one business is participating, the risks are shared, so risks are reduced, and cost is also reduced. Each business brings different expertise to the joint venture. In the case of Google and NASA, Google has their technological expertise, and NASA has their uh, what do you call the astronomical expertise. The market potential for all the businesses in the joint venture operating from different countries increases. There's another advantage of forming a joint venture. The market potential increases. Market and product knowledge are shared. Market knowledge is shared and product knowledge is also shared. However, there are disadvantages. Any mistake made may affect the reputation of all the firms in the joint venture. Decision making is difficult since different businesses may have different cultures. A lot of research and planning should be done for joint venture to run successfully. So you cannot start a joint venture quickly. You have to first do a lot of work out, a lot of planning and research and all that before a joint venture is formed. Now comes public sector businesses. In this public sector business, you have public corporations. Now, public corporations are owned by government because public corporations are in the public sector. Unlike public limited companies, I mentioned in the previous video, public limited companies are in the private sector, but public corporations are in the public sector. Please keep that in mind. Public corporations are owned and controlled by the government. Capital is provided by the government. Aims are providing services to public. Example, electricity, health service, education, etc. They provide services at a low cost to public because profit is not their motive. Helps maintain an economic balance in the country. Public sector, uh, you know, maintains an economic balance in the country uh, by balancing with the economic activities in the private sector. It provides employment to the public. The advantages of a public corporation is economies of scale. Economies of scale means reducing unit cost or reducing the cost of production is possible in public sector organizations. Easier planning and coordination, protection of public interest, and quick decisions can be taken in public uh, corporations or public sector businesses. However, it's difficult to manage a public corporation because they are large, risk of producing inefficient products, Public corporations are not as efficient as you know private sector businesses. There can be political interferences since they are owned by the government. There can be misuse of power in public corporations, and it's expensive to maintain and operate because these businesses are not working for profits. We'll stop here for the time being and get back again in the next video. Till then, have a nice time. Thank you.